Even if you're not an ultralight backpacker, there are tons of benefits to carrying less weight on our backs out on a backpacking trip. And today we are talking some very, very easy ways that any backpacker can use to cut weight out of their backpack. And the very first one we're going to talk about is a fairly common problem. Well, I guess, I don't know, depends on how you look at it. It could be considered a problem. And that is using a cook pot that's just simply the right size for what you need. I've got a Toaks 1100 mil titanium pot and a Toaks 550 mil titanium pot. With these two pots in particular, you're saving about 2.5 ounces of weight, which not the most substantial thing in the world. But the substantial savings with something like this is when you look at the packable size of these two pots. Cook pots don't compress and don't pack down any smaller than kind of what you see. And one of the cool advantages that I personally found when I made the switch to the 550 ml pot as opposed to carrying a full 1 liter pot is it actually changed how I pack my backpack as a whole. Now, obviously I don't carry my pot like this. I've got the little orange little carry stuff case thing that Toaks comes with, but just for, you know, demonstrative purposes. How I like to carry my cook pot now is it goes in the massive side pockets of my ULA Ohm backpack. Now, the backpack you're using may not have side pockets big enough for something like that, but for me, I made the switch to carrying my pot on the outside, and I really enjoy the benefits of it. I like not having my pot inside my pack. It's right in the side pocket on my bag, so it's easily accessible. Just makes, you know, stopping, and if I need to boil up some water for a tea or, you know, a hot chocolate or some Ichiban noodles out there on trail, I just like having the cook pot in the side pocket of my backpack. And just another benefit of going with a smaller cook pot. Now, for years inside my pack, I used individual dry bags to keep a lot of my gear sort of organized and protected from any kind of moisture getting at it. You know, stuff like my extra clothes, my sleeping bag, my tent, and my food bag. Here are the exact dry bags that I used for years. They don't actually pack away all that well. This one is just full of air, but as an example, this is generally what you get when you've got a dry bag completely full. Now picture a bunch of these stacked on top of each other, and you're gonna get all these little gaps on the side here, and it just ends up with a lot of dead space. A really easy way to continue to keep all of your important gear inside your pack dry and protected, and shave the weight and awkward packing of these like ridiculous gear slugs or gear tubes, if you wanna call them that. This is actually a tip that you could pretty much do right now. If you're at home, you could run upstairs or wherever to your kitchen and grab a simple trash bag, and just like that, you have got yourself a pack liner that's going to keep all of your gear dry inside your backpack. I know a lot of you guys like numbers, so the real world numbers on this one, going from the dry bags I was using before to using a pack liner like I'm using now, I saved myself over 10.5 ounces. Using the pack liner is ridiculously simple. You literally just take your backpack, open it up, stuff the trash bag inside, have the top opened, and stuff any gear that you need to keep dry, stuff like your quilt or your sleeping bag, your sleeping pad, your spare clothing, any electronics that you have, that would go inside your trash compactor bag. You roll the top up, and then any gear that you don't mind getting a little bit wet goes on top of that, and that's how you guarantee and protect all of your gear inside your pack. One of the huge advantages of going with a pack liner is it actually makes the packing inside your backpack a lot more efficient. You will actually find that you are able to stuff more gear into your pack by just stuffing the gear in and avoiding things like stuff sacks and dry bags and compression bags. Like I showed before, they make those really hard to pack away gear tubes that leave a whole bunch of dead space around your gear. And just stuffing all the gear inside, like your quilt and your sleeping bag, and just stuffing your sleeping pad in there and your extra clothing, you're gonna be a lot more efficient with how you use that space in your backpack, and you're actually gonna fit a lot more gear in your bag. For the third one, we're gonna kind of stick with the dry bags a little bit. It's not the dry bags themselves, it's actually something that goes inside the dry bags in a lot of people's gear. Spare clothing tends to be what I personally see out on trail as one of the biggest culprits of overpacking and just unnecessary extra weight and extra bulk in somebody's backpack. Clothing, unless it's like a down puffy jacket, really doesn't compress down and pack down all that small. Clothing also tends to be pretty heavy, and it tends to be one of those places that just as human beings, we tend to really overthink, and we tend to pack our fears and kind of let our anxiety take over a little bit. And it's really easy to just simply pack far more clothing than you actually need out on a trip. I'm not going to sit here and tell you exactly what you need to pack for your backpacking trip. Every individual person is completely different. What I think I need for extra clothing may be a little bit less or even a little bit more than what you think you need. What I am going to do is talk about a couple specific pieces of clothing that I carry in my bag that have helped me save a bunch of weight and also added comfort for me. And it was just making smart choices with some of the clothing pieces that I brought with me. The first one here is my tights. These are just a pair of athletic tights from Saks. I honestly don't even know what model these are. The tags have all worn out on them. They work really well as a base layer, so it helps pull the moisture off my body. So on really warm days, I like wearing them. And even on cooler days, I like wearing them. You know, they give my legs a little bit of insulation. And if I'm hot and sweaty, they help pull that moisture off my legs and just help me regulate my body temperature a little bit. These are all I really bring for pants besides a pair of pants to sleep in. I don't bring like a full set of like cargo pants for hiking in anymore. Since making the transition to tights, I find that this is pretty much all I need. And it has saved me a bunch of weight and a bunch of bulk out of my backpack. This piece of gear that I want to talk about is one that I'm going to be going with in 2023, and it's actually going to be the replacement for the extra fleece sweater that I tend to bring from time to time. Just a lot of these spring and fall backpacking trips I do, you know, we get pretty cool temperatures in the evenings, and on those cool evenings it's nice to have a little bit of extra insulation besides just my Ghost Whisperer puffy jacket. And I'm talking about the jacket I'm currently wearing right now. This is a new piece of gear, a new jacket from Outdoor Vitals. This is called the Nebo. This is a wind jacket. I'm pretty sure this would keep you dry in like a light sprinkling or a light rain. But, you know, in a heavy torrential downpour, you're obviously going to want to put the rain jacket on. But the benefit of carrying a wind jacket like this, as opposed to the sweater I was carrying before, is throwing this on over top of, say, an existing sweater or your puffy jacket is going to help hold that body heat in a little bit more. Losing body heat from wind is a big factor, especially on those cool evenings. So just having something that's going to cut the wind down is really, really going to help. And it's also significantly lighter and packs up significantly smaller. This jacket here comes in at just over 4 ounces. The sweater I was carrying before is at like 11.5. So pretty significant weight savings, and when this thing is taken off, it packs up like the size of a tennis ball. Ridiculously small, super cool new piece of gear from Outdoor Vitals. An Nalgene bottle is 7 ounces. This carries a liter of water, whereas this Smart branded bottle, also a liter, weighs 1.25 ounces. These actually are a lot easier to get in and out of pockets as well. You know, they're a little bit slimmer and a little bit taller. You can get them with these really nice sport caps, make drinking really, really efficient. And the threads on these bottles also match up with some of the most popular filters out there on the market. So you can actually hook your water filter directly up to your bottle, and you can drink directly from your bottle. So you can put unfiltered water in here, drink directly from it. And let's just be completely real, everybody knows that to get the babes, you gotta rock the Smart bottles nowadays. If you're looking for some gear to help you save some weight and not break the bank, I've done a couple different videos on some budget ultralight backpacking gear. I'll fire those up right here for you. So when you're done with this video, check out either one of those. I am sure you'll enjoy. And as always, I'm Matty. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.